Okay, so this lesson technically goes with the exponent laws. So we'll talk about the laws here in a minute. But we're first going to talk about a new calculator way, or new calculator method that we're going to learn. This lesson is called scientific notation. So scientific notation is a compact way of writing a very large number or a very small number, okay? And so what we first need to do, so we're going to practice going between the two methods. So we're first going to convert what we call standard form, which is traditional numbers, into scientific. The way to do this is to change my mode in my calculator. So mode is next to second, okay? And then right now it's flashing on normal. What we need to do is change it to SCI. So I'm going to go to the right and I'm going to hit enter. Okay, and if you look at the top left of my screen, it does say SCI. So we are in scientific notation mode. All you have to do is hit clear to get out. All we are literally going to do is type these numbers in and hit enter. So this first one is 75 million. The only tricky part about this is making sure that you type in the correct number of zeros. You do not have to include commas and hit enter. So here's my answer, but here's how you technically write it. Scientific notation of this number is 7.5. Instead of E, we are going to write times 10, and the number after E is my exponent of 7, okay? So we're going to do the same thing for the other three. So you just type in 208, and I get 2.08 times 10, but my exponent is positive 2. Here again, 0.00852. You do need to include the decimal, and you hit enter. It is 8.52 times 10 to the negative third. This time the exponent is negative. And then lastly, 0.04, hit enter, is 4 times 10 to the negative 2. Okay? Now, to do the reverse, you have to do by hand. So when I want to go from scientific method or scientific notation to standard notation, I need to know the rules for moving the decimal, okay? So it all comes down to the exponent, okay? The exponent tells you which way to move and how many times. So if the exponent is positive, then we're going to move the decimal to the right. If the exponent is negative, then we're going to move the decimal to the left. So let me show you. If I take number 7, I have 2.54 times 10 to the second. I'm going to take 2.54. I'm going to take 2.54, okay, just the decimal, and I'm going to move the decimal 2 times to the right. 2 because the exponent is 2, and to the right because it's positive 2. So I'm just going to do loop-de-loops. Once, twice. So my decimal ends up after the 4, and my number is 254. If I look at number 8, this time I have 9.1. 9.1, the exponent is positive 5, so that means I'm going to go to the right 5 times. So I'm going to take my decimal and go to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And in those empty spots, we're going to put zeros. So my decimal is at the end, so my number is 910,000. There you go. When it comes to a negative exponent, it's the same principle, but you're going to go to the left. So negative 2 means I'm going to go to the left twice. 1, 2. My decimal actually ends up at the front, and they put a 0 in the blank. So it's 0.067. You will see your answers with a 0 in front of the decimal. It doesn't change my value. They just have to have something in the ones place. Now, number 11 is 5.88, but I'm going to move the decimal 4 times to the left because it's negative 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. My decimal is now at the front, but I have 1, 2, 3 zeros. So this is 0.000588. And again, they're going to put a 0 in the ones place, but only to put it in the value. Okay. So you do have to know how to convert between the two methods, okay? One in the calculator, one by hand. When it comes, so this is the part that comes with the exponent laws that we've been talking about, which is why this lesson is here. Now, I'm going to be very honest with you. if you use the laws of exponents with scientific notation, it gets really, really, really messy. So we're just going to teach you to do it in the calculator. Okay, so don't worry about which way to move the decimal, how to add, how to subtract. All you have to do is make sure that your mode is in scientific notation, because we want our answer to be in scientific notation. And all you are literally going to do is type these problems in. I mean, that's it. So, well, like number 1, I have to include the parentheses. So 3.4 times 10. To do an exponent of 2, you can either do x2 or caret top. It's up to you. Plus 5.2 times 10 exponent 2. And you get an answer. So your answer is whatever you type in. 8.6. Instead of e, remember it's times 10, and then my exponent is 2. So again, I mean, there is a very complicated way to do this in your head or on paper, but it gets really messy. So we're just going to type it in a calculator. So I'm only going to do a couple of examples of each instead of do every single one. So number 2, same idea, 9.5 times 10. To do an exponent of something other than 2, I'm going to do caret top, 7. But when you do caret top, you need to remember to hit the right arrow, okay? And then parentheses, plus parentheses 1.1 times 10, caret top, 6. But remember, caret top, you have to hit the right arrow to get out of it, or you might get an error. So my answer is 9.61 times 10 exponent 7. So it would be the, I guess I'll go ahead and do one more of these. So here, 7.24 times 10, caret top, negative 4. Make sure to put negative 4, not minus 4. Right arrow, plus 3.8 times 10, 3.18 times 10, caret top, negative 5. And you see why, if I don't hit the right arrow, it puts the parentheses with the exponent. So just be careful. So my answer is 7.558 times 10 to the negative 4. The same principle is going to be applied whenever we're multiplying or dividing. So I'm just going to do a couple of each. Again, do not worry about the product rule, quotient rule. I'm not going to go into detail. Let's just get going. So all you have to do is make sure your mode is in scientific notation. Oops. Okay, and then you hit enter. So my answer is 5.32 times 10 to the 11th power. Let's do one more multiplication. Again, it's the same idea, so the calculator does all the work for me. It's just making sure you type it in like it says on the paper. So my answer there is 6.11 times 10 to the 4th. I'm going to do just the last 2 division problems because it's relatively the same thing. Just to give you a mixture of everything. Trust me, if we did this by hand, we'd still be on the first problem. Okay, so 3.1 times 10 to the 3rd. And last but not least, 1.6 times 10 to the negative 10. So the only thing you just have to be careful with is to make sure you type it in correctly.